Hello, everyone. This is WD Carousel of Podcast. I'm Ian.
And I'm Crystal.
And we are doing park stuff. Welcome aboard.
Yay!
And we're going to title this one, what? Disney's
getting expensive.
So,
what had ended up happening is last week they announced a price increase on all food at the parks. We're talking table service, we're talking counter service, we're talking snacks, we're talking you buy a cookie and it's going to be more expensive.
Right.
As well as on the 16th, a few days ago, they also came out with their next level of price increases as far as park tickets go too. Yay! So we have that to talk about and a couple other things, and I thought it'd be a good topic that's topical. Like an ointment.
This is a very topical episode. You can rub it on your skin wherever it's dry.
And on that note, let's just dive into it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So we had already talked about the mandatory paying for parking at resorts now.
Yes.
We did that a couple months ago as a news topic on an episode when we still did those. We're not doing them now.
Yeah.
But
yes
just to reiterate, now if you are staying on a Disney property at a resort, well, it doesn't matter if it's a value, moderate, or deluxe, they're going to charge you every night for parking. And those prices are $13 at the value resorts per night, $19 for the moderates, and $24 per night for the deluxe resorts. So if you are staying there for 5 days, that is expensive. That's the price of a park ticket if you're staying at a deluxe resort. Just to have your car sitting there.
It's the equivalent of having an entire day in the park just to park your car.
Just to have it sitting there. That's ridiculous.
And that's going to feel even worse after we talk about the rest of the stuff that's changing.
And we've already covered this with you. This has been going on since March, so it's not anything new, but it's just another added cost that most people don't realize.
Right.
Another added cost that was just brought up was the Disney dining plan.
Yes. Did it go up or?
Well, okay, so we haven't gotten the Disney dining plan price increase for next year, but one thing that we didn't realize that is not included this year, that had been included in past years.
Oh, yeah. It was gratuity.
Was gratuities.
Which is kind of surprising, and it sort of feels like it almost defeats the purpose of the dining plan, in my opinion, a little bit, because it feels like that should be something that just would be there, because the idea because the dining plan, the whole idea is that you're just boop, and you're done.
Screen,
you know?
there, not there.
No, I know.
You keep looking down.
I know.
I love you. But you don't pay for a big dining plan that's going to be hundreds of dollars, over $100 per day per person, to still have to worry about tipping your waiter and everything. Not saying that I don't think they deserve a tip. Mm-hmm. That's not even where I'm going with this at all. Right. I mean, you should always tip your wait staff, tip anybody who helps you out, bellhops, drivers, whatever. I don't care. Tip your people.
Right.
But it used to be included in the dining plan as far as wait staff would go for gratuities. Yeah. And I think them cutting that is cheap. Because they didn't lower the price either.
Right. And I think also it just kind of, especially if you were like an international person, especially for Walt Disney World, you've got a lot of people from all over the world coming in to visit it. And we have, kind of strange tipping customs in the US. Mm-hmm. And the idea behind the dining plan was they were just like, I don't care. I don't really need to worry about it because I just tap my wristband and I'm done. And now it's like, okay, well, that's a separate thing, so good luck. Like, it just feels like
you still have to pay for it with your wristband or pull out some cash.
It just feels like it kind of pulls that not thinking about it and the magic kind of down a little bit.
Especially if you're doing something like the 50s Cafe at Hollywood Studios versus if you were going to be our guest.
Right.
I mean, those are two different experiences, too. If you're going to be paying $20 per meal or if you're going to be paying $50, $60 per meal, having to add in that 18-20% tip per person
absolutely
gets really expensive as well. And that's not something that most people anticipate.
Right.
And speaking of the food, so last week, like I said, they had done a brand-wide increase on all food. And everything is going up. Even to the point of, like, Dole Whips. Every single Dole Whip is going up.
It's like 99 cents or something, right?
Something silly like that. Yeah. Turkey legs went up almost $2. And for them to do this in the middle of the International Food and Wine Festival, when all of these prices were set, we were down there.
Yeah.
We saw all the signing, all the pamphlets, everything. Like, think about the amount of marketing that they have to change now just to do this brand-wide increase, which, I mean, if they're getting an extra $1 to $2 per food, they can afford it. I mean, it's Disney.
Right.
They're not hurting for money at all.
Right.
But just if you're planning your vacation, like we did with our food and wine, and we planned X number of dollars for the day for the food that we had out there, to all of a sudden have that go up another 10%, 20%.
Yeah, that would have been.
Person?
It would have been a lot. You already come in budgeting for it to be a lot, and you come out and it's a lot. And looking at it, and halfway through, I can't imagine like coming in and being like, we have this whole idea of how much it's going to cost, and then we get there and like, don't worry, we changed it.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? So the lobster roll that we had at the America Pavilion, that one was delicious.
Yes,
but it was tiny. And it was over $7 already.
Yeah, for that little.
What do you think they increased that to? $8, $9 for an itty bitty, like it was like this big.
It was like one of those little dinner rolls.
It was like this big. I'm not kidding you. It was itty bitty.
It was crazy. It was
delicious, but not worth $8, $9 for what you got.
No, it was not worth it. I mean, it was good. Like,
delicious.
It's hard to be like, it's not worth it, because it was really good, but it's like any other situation, you would be like, no, I'm gonna not get that, because no.
Not for that dollar amount.
Yeah.
And I understand going to Disney, we expect to have costs, but when they're increasing it by 10, 20%, that's a lot of extra money to add in just for food costs alone.
Right.
Especially in the middle of a festival where people have already planned and budgeted and said, we're going to this, and we know what the pricing is, and we know what this is. To have that change around. Yeah. And I didn't hear anything in anticipation of this change either. It just all of a sudden, boop, was there. And all of us that do these Disney blogs, Disney vlogs, Disney notifications.
Right.
We were all like,
hello,
this is a park-wide thing, a resort-wide thing, a property-wide thing?
Right.
What happened? So, it might seem a little weird that we're so shocked about it, but that's why. Because when we go down, I budget to the penny. I know exactly how much I'm spending and where and what I'm using and all of that. I cannot anticipate all of a sudden Disney on a whim being like, well, we're going to change the prices for every single piece of food in the entire resort.
It seems like, to me, it seems like something they would roll out maybe right after Food and Wine and in segments.
In a transition time.
Right. Having segments would seem like a logical thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or at least give us some notice, like they did with the increase on park tickets. Now, park tickets is a big thing that they just came out with. It started on October 16th, and that's the last big thing we're going to talk about is the price increases there, because it's not just a price increase, but it's going to be a little bit different as far as how to plan your park. So even our past ticket episodes that we've talked about, this is going to be different from this point forward. So some of those tips and tricks that we talked about might not apply any longer.
Yep.
Which happens when you're doing podcasts and broadcasts about this stuff.
Change all the time.
But the update to the park passes now is positive note, and I actually explained this to a coworker of mine when it first was said that they were going to be doing this different ticketing structure. She was like, I don't get it. So Currently, what they're doing is, if you're buying a single day park pass, they have one price for Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom is so awesome, and it's a traditional park, and if you're going to do one park, everybody wants to do Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And then all the other parks were at a slightly lower level. And then once you got into buying multiple days worth of parks, then they roll it into one and they even it out.
Right.
What they're doing for this ticket structure now that is live is everything's going back to the same price.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what park you go to. If you buy one park ticket, you can go to any park on that price.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like it being a little bit more even keel.
Yeah.
A little bit more fluid as far as if you are a person who travels on a whim or goes with the flow, being like, I feel like Animal Kingdom or whatever. That's fine. I don't care.
Right.
And so they have the 3 different ticket pricing there. Today, it was $109. We're on their value season right now, which is their cheap season. There's not a lot of people there, so you're going to have a lot of cheaper tickets. Their moderate season, they said, is $114 a day. And then their peak time, their peak season, is $122 for a ticket, which is still not that bad when you're thinking single person, single park. If you're talking a family of 4, if you're talking a bigger family, that price is going to go up.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, is they're still doing the bundle packages, and this is where a lot of people are getting confused. Okay. When you would buy bundled tickets before, yes, they dropped the price, which we talked about on our previous episodes. That's still true. And if you go for a number of days, they give you a little bit of a discount.
Right.
But before, when you would buy a packet of tickets, so let's say we bought 4 days worth of tickets.
Okay.
The first day that you use that ticket, that first ticket, would start the clock for 14 days. And you could use your tickets for any time during that 14 days. So if you wanted to do, Disney, go to Universal, go to SeaWorld, come back, do all of that, you had that freedom.
Right.
Or a lot of people would do Disney in between a cruise. So they'd go to Disney for a couple days, go out on their cruise for 7 to 8 days, come back, and then just finish up with their Disney trip and then fly home. It's a nice little sandwich to a vacation.
Yeah.
Now,
vacation sandwich.
Vacation sandwich. Now what they're doing is, depending on how many days you bundle, they're restricting how many days you have to use those in. So if you buy 2 park tickets, you have 3 days to use them in.
Okay.
So that means you can't do park, cruise, park.
Gotcha.
You can't do park, SeaWorld, Universal, park. Because then, if you're only buying the 2, you have to make that decision what and where.
Okay.
If you buy a couple more, sure, they'll open up those days a little bit more.
Sure.
It's after you get to, I believe, 8 days that they open back up to the full 14.
Okay.
But if you still want that fluidity of time, you can pay an extra $50 per person.
Oh, what are they calling that?
To extend it to the full 14-day flex schedule.
I see. And now here's my question then. If you then buy that flex thing, does that include Hopper?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
So, and I'm saying probably because this is brand spanking new. This is just what's been published by Disney. I'm guessing that it's $50 regardless, but it's probably $50 per ticket package.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a family of 4, that's an extra $200.
Right.
To be able to have a couple wiggle days in there, more than you were already anticipating. Yeah. So, positive, no price differences as far as which park you're going to.
Right.
But now they're going to try and get a couple extra bucks from you by giving you those flexible times. So if you want to take a day to just hang out at a resort, or if you want to take a day that is checking out a different park, you have to, again, plan it in. You have to figure out exactly where your priorities are instead of going with the flow. Which, you know me, I'm a planner. I do all types of research and budgeting, and that's my thing. But I also like to have the fluidity of being able to say, okay, we're going to go down. We bought 2 park tickets when we were down there.
Yes.
And then we were down there for basically 5 days.
Right.
If we wanted to do this or this or this, sure. The guys decided not to go to Universal because they weren't feeling like it.
Yeah.
And we had that fluidity still. Now
Right.
you don't. And that's difficult.
It's just as kind of frustrating because, before it was more expensive to do Magic Kingdom and there's other trade-offs, but now you get potentially cheaper, but you have to really plan ahead, which for some people it's not a problem, and for others
And
it will
honestly,
be a problem.
if you're doing the fast passes and all that other stuff, you kind of know what parks you're going to. But for them to say, no, you only have 3 days on a 2-day park pass can make it really hard.
Yeah.
Versus having to pay another $50 if you're there for 5 days just to have that flexibility.
Right.
Or not go to a park on the first day so it doesn't trigger the 3-day, and you
Right,
really have to sit down with the family and be like, okay, so what do we want to do?
Right.
On what day? And who's going to do what? And let's plan this out. No, Tommy, you are not allowed to be sick on this vacation. Okay.
Right. It's like a little bit of stress potentially because you don't get as much flexibility. So, things to think about. Unless you want to get the peace of mind, then you can shell out the extra dough.
Which I'm not going to do.
I probably will at some point. I like park hoppers, so that's kind of already my thing. I know that when I travel with you, I don't do park hoppers, but I do like park hoppers because it's fun. That's just me.
Yeah, but 2 parks or more in a day can get a little exhausting.
Yeah, it can. It absolutely can. But
it gets exhausting for me, and I'm driving in a scooter.
I know.
So if you guys decide that you're going to be going to Disney here soon, which I still strongly encourage,
Absolutely.
I love Disney. Disney is an amazing place to vacation.
This is not going to change our feelings about going to Disney.
No, but it also does make us more aware of where our budget lies, what our timing is, and making sure that we are not being taken for more money than we need to be.
Absolutely. I think that is definitely true, and definitely one of the reasons that we like to do this, because we can pass it on to you when we find out things that are kind of important to our being able to enjoy ourselves when we go.
Yes. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. Other than that, my name's Crystal.
I'm Ian.
And I hope you guys have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Just a dream away.